All right, let's just get right into it. If you thought you knew how a big gaming event was supposed to work, you need to throw that playbook out the window. Because Sony's latest State of Play didn't just show off some games. Oh no, it was an absolute masterclass that just changed the game. We're going to break down exactly what went down, and more importantly, why this is such a massive signal for the future of PlayStation.
But first, really quick, if you love getting the real story behind the biggest moves in gaming, do me a favor and absolutely smash that like and subscribe button. Trust me, you are not going to want to miss where this is going.
So let's just ask the question that is blowing up my feed and probably yours too. Was this, hands down, the single greatest State of Play we have ever seen? I know, it's a huge claim, but stick with me, because by the end of this, I think the evidence is going to be pretty undeniable.
Okay, first things first, we gotta talk about the sheer scale of this thing. We're all used to these quick 20, maybe 30-minute updates, right? Well, Sony just tossed that whole idea aside and dropped an absolute marathon on us. This wasn't just a news broadcast, it was a statement, a major power move.
And that brings us to this number, 85. 85 minutes. That officially makes this the longest State of Play in history. Think about that. In an age where everything is about short attention spans, dropping a feature-length showcase is Sony basically telling us all to sit down and pay attention because something massive is coming.
Now, a long runtime is cool and all, but what really supercharged this event was the hype before it even started. The rumor mill was in absolute overdrive, and what's so fascinating is how Sony didn't ignore the speculation. They played right into it.
For example, this rumor started floating around from Nate the Hate, who's a pretty reliable source. The idea of a 2D God of War game? I mean, it sounded kinda out there, right? Almost impossible. It was so different from where the series is now, but it got people talking. Now just keep that little detail in the back of your mind. It's gonna be really important later.
And look at this. It wasn't just one or two things they got right. It was a clean sweep. The crazy 2D God of War rumor, the long-awaited Metal Gear collection, even the return of Castlevania. Everything that people were hoping for actually happened. This tells me this wasn't an accident. This was Sony deliberately rewarding its most dedicated fans who follow all this stuff so closely.
So, with everyone hooked and on the edge of their seats, Sony just opened the floodgates. It was just one jaw-dropping reveal after another. And right when we thought we had the rhythm of the show figured out, they hit us with a brilliant pattern interrupt.
Just as we were all trying to process everything, the whole vibe of the show changed. Sony literally handed the keys over to Konami for their own dedicated segment. You almost never see this happen, and it was a huge signal that something legendary was about to be revealed.
And man, did Konami deliver. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2 is finally real. And the big deal here is it's almost certainly going to have Metal Gear Solid 4, a game that's been trapped on the PlayStation 3 for, over a decade? On top of that, a brand new 2D Castlevania and a new look at Silent Hill. This was a massive comeback moment for Konami.
And it wasn't all just legacy franchises either. We got a brand new trailer for that James Bond game we're all dying to see, a hard release date for Bungie's new shooter, Marathon, and we got to look at this wonderfully weird game, Project Windless, that seems to feature a chicken with a sword. The variety was just off the charts.
But believe it or not, all of that was just the opening act. As the show started winding down, the Santa Monica studio logo appeared on screen, and you could feel the entire internet just go silent. This was it. This was the moment people have been begging for years.
And there it was, confirmation. The original Greek saga, God of War 1, 2, and 3, is being completely rebuilt, from the ground up, for the PlayStation 5. The trilogy that basically defined an entire generation of action games is coming back.
But look, to really get why this is such a big deal, you have to understand the tech leap we're talking about. This isn't just an HD remaster, it's a total reconstruction. We're talking about moving from the old PS2 and PS3 engines to a modern one. That means native 4K, ray tracing, high frame rate performance modes. It's about making these classics feel brand new, not just look a little sharper.
Now, of course, we gotta pump the brakes just a little bit. Santa Monica was very clear that this project is still in its early stages. So yeah, we're probably a few years away from actually playing it, but just knowing it's officially happening, that's a massive win.
Okay, so a full remake of one of the most beloved trilogies ever. That's a perfect ending for any showcase, right? You could roll credits there and everyone would be happy. But Sony wasn't done. They had one final trick up their sleeve, a true one more thing bombshell that was about to tie this whole incredible event together.
Remember that wild rumor we talked about at the very beginning? The 2D God of War game that seemed too crazy to be true? Well, it was 100% accurate. But they didn't just announce it. They did something so much crazier. They did what the industry calls a shadow drop. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, that's when a game is released with zero prior marketing. No trailers, no hype campaigns, nothing. It's an incredibly bold move that you almost never see from a franchise this big.
The game is called God of War's Sons of Sparta. It's a 2D side-scroller about Kratos' early days. And the final, mind-blowing reveal? It's available right now. Like today, you can go to the PlayStation Store and download it as we speak. I mean, just an absolutely legendary move.
So let's just recap the genius strategy Sony pulled off here. First, they validated all the community hype by proving the leaks were real. Second, they delivered on a huge fan dream with the Trilogy Remake. And third, they absolutely shocked the world with the instant gratification of a brand new game you could play immediately.
Which brings us right back to that first question. By giving us a massive remake to look forward to in the future, and a surprise new game to play right now, Sony just delivered the perfect 1-2 punch of nostalgia and instant satisfaction. So I'll just leave you with this question.